Happy day and welcome to Data Points. I'm Ryan and I'm your host, and today we're going to be with Ben Schiff with AltrXego. I apologize, I'm a little hoarse. I've been talking nonstop for a few days now, and probably a little under the weather, so you might get more gravelly. But I asked Ben to come on because he sat next to me at the Chamber of Commerce. I'd never seen him there before, and I've known my kids went to Ben's DJ Academy, and it was a good experience. But what impressed me was how organized and set up he was, and that got me curious about him because it's easy to see Ben and not understand that he owns a business on Guam that's been in business for almost 10 years. And that he started as a transplant, coming here in a new place and worked with his dad to run a business that maybe wasn't so well received. So it's an interesting story about his personal growth, his journey into AltrXego, and his vision for Guam. You're going to love it. And we hope you love all our content on all our platforms. We ask you to like, share, subscribe, or save. We're on YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts, and also at events. If you see us out there, say hello. Happy to talk to you and answer any questions you might have. Thank you. Hafa day and welcome to Data Points. My name is Ryan and I'm the host, and I'm here with Ben Schiff
Thanks
from
for having me.
AltrXego.
Yeah, sometimes we joke around and we say the X is silent, just to mess with people. But yes, AltrXego. Alter means to change in a small but significant way. X is through experience, and ego the way you view yourself. So we're trying to slowly change the way people view themselves through the experiences that we build on Guam.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
And a lot of people don't realize that some people actually put a lot of thought and meaning behind and I wouldn't have guessed, right? But just the idea of all that nuance there means like you've really thought about your business, your brand, your flow. And how did you get to that place? And that's why I kind of got you on, because what we were talking about before is um, you know we're from different like realms, right?
Yes.
I'm older than you, but then I see you everywhere, right? I see you on the back end, but I don't see you everywhere like I see everybody else. I see you watching, I see you observing, I see you grinding, right? And I see the way my kids have gone to they've gone to your DJ Academy, right?
Yes.
I've seen how you operate. I have the peek behind the curtain. I've seen the scale of your operation. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I was like, and then I learned a little bit more about you in the background. So I thought your story would be interesting. So I'm alluding to it for the guests, but I really want you to tell the story of how you came up, how you started your business and your journey, because I think it's really interesting.
Okay. Well, once again, thanks for having me on. I moved to Guam when I was about 10 years old. I was born in Detroit, Michigan, and I went to Aguda Johnson, GW, JFK, graduated at JFK. And at the time, AltrXego wasn't even a concept or anything. I was managing my dad's veterinary clinic, Wise Animal Hospital. I was doing that for about eight years until I was around 26, 27. And then I decided I kind of wanted to build my own wave here on Guam. I felt like I was just riding my dad's wave because he's pretty well known out there. But all the stuff I learned managing Wise Owl is what gave me a head start on ideas and concepts for AltrXego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a Rich Dad, Poor Dad? You ever read
Yes.
that book?
Yes.
So
Yes.
so having a dad who is an entrepreneur, because
Yep.
you can be a vet but not be own your own business.
Correct.
So you're having a dad, an entrepreneur, and operating in that business. Did that affect the way you think?
Yes, definitely. So we actually had a wise owl in Michigan.
Okay.
And then the divorce and everything was a pretty big divorce, to say the least. That's why my dad moved halfway across the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Right. And at the time, basically, my dad had to start everything from scratch all over again. So I kind of was 10 years old. I saw my dad have to restart at a completely new place in the world and everything. And seeing him slowly build a Wise Owl kind of showed me that if you stick with it long enough, you can build practically anything.
Well, can we talk about that a little
Yeah.
bit? Because like in the offing, I didn't make that connection, but I do remember that a little bit. I do remember there was a little bit of a pushback when
Yes.
your dad was coming in as
Oh, yeah,
as an
huge.
outsider coming into the market, right? So so that was part of your experience too,
Yep.
being on the inside of that. How did that affect your perception and your ideas about doing business here?
Um, yeah, when we first moved here, we were actually like a relief veterinarian. So we're kind of working for all the other vets, and I was a certified veterinary technician. So I was kind of following my dad around and everything. And when we started Wiseowl, opened up our own doors, we kept on running into legal battles with the Guam Board of Allied Health. So it definitely did deter me from starting my own business because we always had to deal with legal loopholes and everything every time we would try to bring in a new veterinarian or bring in a new doctor to the island. They wouldn't really, we would just get through red tapes, you know what I mean, with permitting and licensing and everything like that. So it definitely started me off not wanting to own a business or everything because I just thought it's just going to be a huge headache. It's just going to be an uphill battle with everything. But when I started actually running my business, I learned all that stuff is going to helped me learn to keep on pushing through, no matter what the permitting process is, no matter how many times they say no. Just keep on submitting until until it gets approved. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of the messaging, that notion of resilience, right?
Yes.
The notion of just running against the wall and just getting up and signing up for more. It's the Tom Brady speech, right? You know,
Yes.
you get knocked down, you get right back up, and
Exactly.
you show up for your teammates and you
Yep.
show up for your people. Where did you learn that?
Um, I learned that through a program called Outward Bound. I went there when I was probably just around 10 years old, right before I came to Guam. And it was like a leadership program where you kind of get sent by yourself with a group of people into Oregon is the one I picked. And that was like about a 2-month program. And that kind of stuck with me since of just keep on pushing on. There's not always going to be somebody to save you. You know what I mean? The like burn the boats philosophy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like there's no going back, guys. This is it. We're moving forward one step at a time. And that's how I got here.
Do you have a David Goggins poster on your
Yeah, exactly.
um, so you were working for your dad,
Right.
and were you always into like entertainment, like DJing, music?
Yeah, so I definitely was. I always like to say my dad saves animals. I party like an animal. You know what I
That's a
mean?
good
That was my little slogan back in the day. I started hosting events, my own events and everything, and they just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I would just keep on hosting, and I think that was before I realized this is what I love. You know what I mean? And before I learned how to actually turn something I love into a sustainable business, which is something completely different, you know what I mean, than just doing what you love. So that was slowly my process, and then eventually I did a tour around the world, you know what I mean, and I went to a bunch of music festivals.
How did you do that?
Um, how did I do that? I kind of saved up. All my other friends told me about, going to these music festivals. Actually, the first music festival I ever went to, I won the trip. So I
Okay.
was going and buying a bunch of raffle tickets, Budweiser raffle tickets, and I won the trip to Made in America.
Okay.
And that's in Philadelphia. Beyonce, Jay-Z, all sorts, Stone Temple Pilots, a
Right.
bunch of great artists. And that was my first event. And when I went there, Ambrose paid for the hotel, the airfare,
Really?
everything, and I got to take a +1.
So you literally just went, I'm gone. Like, what was the hustle to get the raffle tickets? Did you have like,
I was throwing my own event,
uh-huh,
and then I would always just buy the beer with the raffle tickets in it,
uh-huh.
and then I just kept like I would have 500 raffle tickets, and then it's funny because I did so many raffle tickets that I ended up just keep on sweeping like for 2.5-3 years. I just kept on winning every single Budweiser, Miller Lite, a raffle on
That's
Guam.
great.
Yeah. So this is before they had the philosophy of making 100 finalists and then picking one out of the 100 finalists.
Right.
So I won like 8 different grand prizes on
Dude, there
Guam.
was this movie called like Real Genius, and this guy lived in the closet, and he was going around the country claiming unclaimed game show prizes.
Amazing.
This
Brilliant.
is you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I wouldn't accuse you of living in a closet though.
oh. But ever since that first music festival, I just fell in love with the experience, and I
Uh-huh.
truly felt like that experience is something that I brought with me afterwards. Just like I mentioned, Outward Bound, how I brought that experience with me afterwards. And once I realized that I truly love being a part of those experiences in people's lives, regardless if it's a wedding, if it's a birthday, if it's a celebration of any kind, that's when I kind of started building the Alter X Ego philosophy.
But where did you go Scooter Braun, right? Like, where did you make the connection? Like, okay, I like this music festival. I can do this as a business, and
Yeah.
what is my next step to do this as a business?
Yeah. So when I started doing all the tour around, I was actually with my friend Matt Scro,
Okay,
okay, from Guam Time, and he was helping out a music festival on Guam
sure.
and everything. So he was kind of leaving his position and kind of recommended me for that position.
At Guam time.
Not at Guam. This is before Guam Time.
Okay.
Okay. So then I was a promotional manager and concept manager and like a consumer journey manager for a local music festival.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I get it.
And
Yeah.
then I kind of was doing that for like 2, 3 years, trying to build Guam's music festivals. It's a bigger scene. I brought it to Saipan
Mhm.
for the first year, which was a great time and everything. I still have friends and family in Saipan because of that, which is
Nice.
great.
Yeah.
Yes. And after that music festival, I ended up getting fired, right?
Mhm.
And I thought it was like the end of the world and
Why? Why'd you
everything.
get fired?
Because me and the owner weren't always seeing eye to eye.
Mhm.
So he was off island. I was on island running day to day. You know what I mean? And I would have people assist me build the structures, assist me with this, and um, I would need X amount of tickets to support the people that helped me in this. I would just have to jump through hoops, and because it wasn't my festival, you know what
Sure.
I mean? So I'd have to jump through hoops in order to get approval for stuff, and I think that's where the frictions
Understood.
started. And eventually, him and his business partner split and everything, and I was working closer with the one that left, and he kind of took over. So. And also we're dealing with brand changing from one distributor to another, so it's just easier, I'm sure, for at the time to start a clean slate
Sure.
for that business, which I understand much more now that I run a business than at the time.
Right.
And then once I got fired from there, that was the birth of AltrXego.
And that's kind of like, something sometimes the best things that happen to you are the things that you don't
Yeah,
want to. It's like the
yeah,
Shia LaBeouf like horse story,
yeah,
the
yeah.
Chinese
I,
barber.
I literally thought I was in Korea at the time I got fired, and I was just with my friends in Korea who are DJs out there and everything. And I didn't know what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? I already left Wise Owl. I went all in with this music festival, and now I'm not there no more. And then I got to figure out how to start something myself. Like I said, start my own wave and everything with no resources. You know what I mean?
But
Um,
but that's the formative piece in a lot of
yes.
ways, right? Even me, like I was in tech before I got into real estate, and I got
Yep.
laid off. And so you reassess, and then you
Yes.
go back to the drawing board. Okay,
Yep.
what did I do wrong? What can I do right? Did I like what
Exactly.
I was doing? You assess, and then you carry forward.
Yep.
So it clicked for you, but you had already done the thing. So the connection I was trying to make is you aspired to be in this business, and an opportunity came about.
Yes.
That opportunity came about through your network,
Yep.
right? And through, talking about your ideas and talking about the things you love to people who can make something happen for you, right?
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. You have to have the conversations. Maybe I'm not saying you lucked into it, but however it happens,
Yeah.
right? But if you are thinking about it and you position yourself in a place where you can have those conversations with people, the idea is eventually those ideas will proliferate or manifest into something.
Yes.
But that's you have to be in the right place at the right time, and you have to kind of follow the thread.
Yeah. I
Right?
definitely believe in manifesting it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you
Like
have
I'm
to.
huge on manifesting and everything. I'm a true believer. I do manifestation exercises and everything. There's a book I suggest everybody check out, 72 Keys of Manifesting. And it really dials in on your vibration and your frequency you put out and how that attracts what you want or what you might not even want, but the next stage.
I did this podcast recently, and one of the things they asked me was, what are the common threads that you see in leaders? And one of the things is courage,
Yeah.
right? But one of the things also that, if you think about it, is just that, right? And just that vision and that drive, right? That thing that kind of just pulls you through,
Yep.
right? And you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? That's why
Yeah.
it's like when you see someone who does it, it's like they get it, right?
Yep.
It's like you speak the same language in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
right?
And it helps when you're passionate about what you're doing, because then when it gets tough and when you have to go through all those obstacles and everything, your passion is what really pushes that drive through to get it done. Where you don't want it to, you're so passionate about it, you're so all in that there's no plan B.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Burn the boats to
Yes.
a degree, right? Like
Yeah.
and as a leader, you have to be careful with that too,
Yeah. You
right?
do.
Because people will like sign up and burn the boats with you, and
Yes.
if you don't have a plan and you're being careless with that, that's its
Yeah.
own thing,
Yeah.
right? So you are now at you've shifted, and you're now afloat,
Yep.
and so you're like, I'm going to do this on my own.
Yes.
What's the first thing you do?
First thing I did was I tried to figure out, because I didn't have any resources. I said, okay, I can't have an entire festival on Guam. You know what I mean? And the festival on Guam, I was already having friction with, because I couldn't build the experiences that I want. So then I thought, how do I brand myself and get people life-changing experiences? So I decided to do tours off island to large-scale music festivals.
Okay.
So I started off the day I launched AltrXego. I did a social media contest on Guam and in Saipan, and I said, all you gotta do is make a video, submit it, post it, tag us, and then the winner gets flown to Korea, gets a free ticket to World Club Dome, free house, exactly what Budweiser did for me,
Right.
or Ambrose did for me. So I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give somebody a crazy experience and everything. And it's funny because only one person from Saipan sent in a video.
Oh, really?
So I was like, you win! Congratulations! You know what I mean? Yeah. Which is actually funny because she ended up working for Wiesel later.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Like full circle, everything. Yeah. So super funny. But I did that. Picked one winner from Saipan, one from Guam, and then we flew out to World Club Dome in Korea. Kind of where it was at when I got fired. So I was trying to tie all the loose ends to build, my courage.
Of course you would
back
believe
up.
in it because you're the raffle winner.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, well, because like I said, I won so many. I was like, how do
Right.
I give this to somebody
Yeah.
else? Because then they might have a life-changing experience like I had. And then, you know what I mean? I'm going to start building brand loyalty and my followers through like these life-changing trips.
Right.
And it's funny. So my first trip, I took 2 people, I ended up taking groups of Guam to Tomorrowland in Belgium, to It's the Ship over 8 times. I brought the largest group was like 138 people from Guam off island to represent. And then eventually I started working with music festivals off island, like It's the Ship, like Livescape and all of them. And then I ended up getting our own stages on board so I could put our Guam DJs performing internationally. And then I bring out the Guam. I was working and doing the production for the Miss Universe at the
Okay.
time. So we were bringing out the Miss Universe girls to represent Guam's beauty. We were bringing out Guam tattoo artists, Guam MCs, and everything. And we were kind of just flying out representing Guam off island, which I think is a great tourism strategy, is export our talent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Since we have
You cultivate
so
the base
many,
and you bring them back.
yeah, we have so many talented people, and every time we bring them off island, more people know about Guam. You know what I mean? At first, they don't know about Guam, but once they meet us, they never forget.
No, I want to come back to that because that's
Yeah.
an important thread, right? But so what I'm hearing from you is really interesting because Adam Sandler, right?
Yeah, of
Like
course.
he just like makes movies he
Yes.
comes with dumb movies so he can hang out with his friends
Yes.
and like party.
Yes.
That's kind of like the Mr. Beast thing, right?
Yep. Yep.
But it doesn't start that way.
No.
And running events is a miserable business, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, just respect, right?
Yeah.
Just because the level of details to do it well, the level of granularity is significant,
Yes.
right? And if you're missing those steps, you're missing a ton of money, and the margins are small.
Yep.
You get burned a lot,
Yes.
and you're managing talent, and
It's a gamble.
Nobody's ever. It is a gamble.
It's a
You
gamble.
have to have the pulse.
Yeah.
So it's not like you partying with your friends. This is
No.
you going around. Well, maybe it was, right? But I don't say it right.
That's why I had to change the business model after 2-3 years. I was like, this is not sustainable. It's not a sustainable business model, you know, going on these trips with no sponsors or anything like that. I was just lying to myself the whole time. Brand loyalty, I'm branding myself, everything.
But I think you come to that, right? You
Yeah.
come to a place where, okay, you're running a business, you have like customers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the day, you look at the ticket and you're like, oh, I did all this and I made like $10, right?
Yeah.
Where's the growth? Where's the scale? Am I
Exactly.
going to do
Yep.
this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
So I'd appreciate it if you just like talk me through that. Yeah. How was that for you?
The scale of like how I started making it profitable, or
No, just like,
a business.
I guess like talk to me about like the evolution of yourself as
Okay.
like, hey, I'm doing this for fun,
Okay.
to I am, man, I'm really over enjoying this, but I'm kind of overwhelmed and things are falling through the cracks where
Yeah.
I have to make a change, because
Yeah.
I think in that's the lesson, right?
Yep.
Because we were talking a little bit before we started recording about that journey and getting from year 1 to year 2 to
Yeah.
year 3.
It's-
Good times, right?
Yeah.
You can, I mean, you can get to even, but
Yeah.
then it's like, hey, when am I gonna get paid?
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of hurting.
Sometimes I still wonder that.
But yeah, it's like I've been
Being
skipping.
a business owner, you
I've
pay
been-
yourself last. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So
Leaders eat last.
Yes,
That's the deal,
yes,
right? You got to
yep.
take care of your people, because you know you believe it's going to come for you, so you're willing to defer that for yourself
Yeah.
at some point. But in the meantime, they have those memes about the founder's bank account, right?
Yeah,
It's like it's like $5,
Yeah.
$10,000,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
$50,000,
yeah.
managing that cash flow.
yeah.
So, talk to me about that progression for you.
Yeah. So we started doing the tours off island, everything. And in between the tours, I was trying to do events on Guam. But like I said, it's like a gamble. So each event is almost like a mini startup. You know what I mean? Where you get a cash injection from either sponsors or anything. And then that's how much you have to work with. And then at the end of the event, you find out if you're profitable, if you sold enough tickets, if you got enough sponsors, if the venue was too expensive, if the artist was too expensive. So after doing that, like probably like 2-3 years, I realized it's not sustainable to be gambling with my business structure, right? So then I started realizing, okay, I need to start doing production, because I was looking at when I would host events, I would always pay production.
Mhm.
Production always gets paid regardless, rain or shine.
What is production?
So production is stage, light, sounds,
Fixed assets.
artists, fixed assets.
Okay.
Exactly. So then I started slowly just acquiring assets.
And that's your loss leader.
Uh,
The fixed assets are your barrier to entry if you want to
Yes.
be a production company,
Correct.
because stages are expensive.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
so that's kind of part of it, right? How
Yes.
did you get into that?
So
So you
it's
started
like
that
a
company.
snowball.
and-
It's like a snowball and everything, and then it just slowly turns into avalanche. So I started with just kids games, something I could build
Mhm.
with like 2x4s and plywoods, everything. We were at a festival on Guam, an old school, a while back. It was a Holly Fest with the powder and everything. That was like the first festival we were part of after I left the other company. And all we did was kid games. So I just built assets out of wood and everything, and just made it.
Are you
fun.
handy?
I actually had my friend Justin Cruz,
Okay.
who works for Guam Makerspace and everything. He built all my
I
stuff.
know Justin. Yeah.
He's a great guy. Yeah, he's actually our undercover fixer for all of our stuff. You know, and he can weld, he can do all this stuff.
Can he? Oh,
yeah,
right on.
yeah. So it's a network also. You know, what I
Okay.
mean, building the network. Started building assets for that, and then I was just renting out the kids' games. After I rent out the kids' games, I'd use that money, reinvest it into the company, and just slowly keep on reinvesting into bigger speakers and bigger stages, everything. And typically it would take me around 1.5 years to save up enough money to get a 20-foot container shipped to Guam with my next asset. And then you're going down the rabbit hole, because you want to buy bigger assets to charge more so you can make more off of each event.
Where are you keeping it?
Oh man, it's still in my house right now. I eat, breathe, sleep. Like, people don't
Your feet are probably
understand.
messed up.
Yeah, like it's in my living room, it's in my bedroom, it's in my bathroom. It's 100% consumed my life, because luckily I did do it that way, because when COVID hit, I had to I was told my business is illegal. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
Because
right. Events, yeah.
you can have social gatherings, which essentially was my business model at the time.
I know, that's
You know what
scary.
I mean? So it's very scary to be, told that, one, your job is non-essential, you know, and then two, your job could pose a health threat to your customers that you want to create experiences for. So that was a huge stop for AltrXego, and we had to really assess and everything. And one thing that I learned when I was traveling around the world is just look what else is out there in the world, and there's no reason why we can't have anything that's out there on Guam.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? I think if anything, the fact that we don't have it on Guam yet is a
Opportunity.
huge opportunity to the point where that's where growth is
Agreed.
for my business and everything. So I've been focusing on not necessarily what we don't have, but what I could bring to Guam that isn't here yet, which sounds the same, but if you look at it differently, you see it as an opportunity, not a negative aspect of Guam.
No, but the best stuff is ideas that have come before, but it was kind of before their time.
Yes.
But then people dismiss it. And it's like,
Yep.
no, it wasn't a bad idea. It was just
Exactly.
early.
Yep.
Right. And I like those things when
Yes.
they come back. Right.
And it's funny. So we started the drive-in movie theater.
Oh, okay.
Right across Ocapela.
This is your pivot in COVID.
This is pivoting COVID.
Okay.
Right. So we're doing
That big open field across.
big open field, rented it from Moylan's and everything.
Nice.
And I learned about rent.
How much
and
did it cost to
everything.
rent?
$6,000 a month.
Ballsy.
That was very ballsy at the time. I was like, I got to go all in. I can't have social gatherings and everything. But when I went to rent it, of course, my number one concern is always people's safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was working with public health, you know what I mean? Trying to get approved, going through the processing, the permits and all that stuff. They approved the drive-in movie theater because we were doing it through the radio as well as, you know what I mean? We have social distancing between all the cars and everything like that. So I've always been about following guidelines and policies. And like I said, you know, even if the permit center says no a million times, I just need to adapt, pivot, resubmit until they say yes, and then I'm good to go.
And let me stop you there
Yeah.
because that is a structural and functional obstacle that you didn't have AI to help
There's no way.
navigate through.
Yeah, nothing.
It's networking because
Yes.
Google doesn't tell you how to do triple P,
Right.
right? Like for the payroll protection that you have to do for your employees and all this like aid stuff. There's help, but you have to drive that. You have to be a figure outer, right?
Yep.
So I'd like you to speak to that aspect of being an entrepreneur, just having to propel through, like just figure stuff out.
Yeah.
How important is that for you?
It's huge. I mean, I'm still figuring stuff out every day, you know, and I wish, you know, it was easier for the information to get out. I know information is easier to get nowadays, but just because it's easier to get doesn't mean you're getting the right information, doesn't mean you're getting the information you need. It's like it's more diluted and everything. So I do believe in having a great mentor would have benefited me a lot more if I got a mentor earlier. I have mentors now, so that kind of prevents me from making the same mistakes.
Who's your mentor? Can I ask?
Yeah, his name's Alan V. He's in Canada and
Nice.
everything. He does phase 3 production, and basically he's doing stuff for like Drake and
Nice.
everything. He's doing stuff for like WWE.
Right.
You know what I mean? Huge setups, 8 truckloads, you know what I mean? Logistics that I can't even compare to on Guam. So that kind of like makes me go, okay, my problem is much simpler than than I'm making it out to be. Sometimes when you run into a roadblock, you start in your head making all these excuses of,
Yes.
oh, it's so hard to get this done and
story.
that done. The
Yeah.
story you feed yourself, and you really have to. The mentor is great because a good mentor will tell you, you know, you're just feeding yourself a pile of bull. You know what I
Exactly,
mean?
right?
Yeah,
It's like, yeah, is that really the problem? You know, it's like-
exactly.
but that's the experience piece.
Yes,
And that's the thing that AI can't tell you. And
exactly.
again, we were talking about that off camera too, is that anyone who comes in and says AI is going to help them like figure out a business, they don't know the in the weeds part.
Exactly.
Just the level of nuance, the level of detail that's required to actually execute, because it's
Yes.
all good ideas, right? I'm sure you have
Yes.
like a million of them,
Yeah.
but it's the ability to execute. And we
Yeah.
talk about that as
Yeah.
well, the execution capacity of the person. So you have to be a doer.
Yes, you have to be a doer, and you also have to not be scared to redo your old ideas again now that times change. Just because it didn't work, like you said, just because it didn't work before doesn't mean it's not going to work now, or just because it failed before doesn't mean it's going to fail now.
Right, because sometimes you don't have the right people, sometimes you don't have the right mix.
The
sometimes-
market changes.
Sometimes it was you,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Wrong time and place.
Yeah.
But you can't give up on yourself sometimes, but you have to be
Exactly.
honest in assessing that.
You have to be very honest with yourself.
That's
you
the
know what I mean?
discernment, right?
Yes.
So So you're going through this transition.
Yep.
You're buying all this these fixed assets,
Yep.
but it's because you found you 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 had to scale in a way. The only way to grow was to build your capacity in
Yes.
that way.
Yep.
And so you saw the real estate that you had to own and you created a plan, right? So now you have the production assets.
Right.
And do you consider yourself, did you, at one point, or do you consider yourself entrenched? Or at what point do you feel there will be entrenchment for you?
Entrenchment in the sense of like hard to move on to the next
No,
stage.
no. I mean, there was a old company here. Maybe they're still around called Shooting Star, right? But when you did
Yeah.
a big,
Shooting Star Production.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
but if you wanted to get like any of the high end equipment or any of
Yeah.
that stuff, you had to call them,
Yep.
right? That's entrenchment.
Okay.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
have the capacity where no one else on Guam can
Yes.
like touch you on the event
Yes.
side.
Yeah.
Like,
So
where do you think that
I
lives?
was looking for production equipment that we didn't have. You know what I mean? So like I was looking for anything that I said Guam doesn't have yet. So like foam machines. You know what I mean? I was the first person to bring in foam machines. I flew one out to Saipan, so that Saipan would have one as well, so we could do events on both. I was it's funny because sometimes you think you're the first person bringing it to Guam, and then you start doing it, and you find out 2, 3 other people are doing it. You know what I mean? But they're not just um, on social media like younger businesses.
Hmm.
I do think a lot of my business has scaled when I got off of social media and I started networking with actual people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, and that's the crazy thing.
Yes.
That's an important lesson because everybody, the perception is I start a business and I look like I'm doing the thing,
Right.
but you're not really doing the thing. You just look like you're doing the thing because
Exactly.
the thing is this. The
Yes.
thing is
Yep.
me in the weeds, talking to you face to face, developing. Because how did you meet Alan V?
I met him on one of my tours to another music festival, and I met his friend on It's the Ship, and then I was going on a different ship called Holy Ship, and his friend linked me up with them and everything, and then now Alan is a DJ on It's the Ship, so it's like a full
No,
circle of networking.
right. But then did you chase him? Did you say, hey, can I meet this guy? Or were you introduced?
I was
Or
just no, I was my friend couldn't make it, so he
Mhm.
said, "Hey, my friends are there. Go hang out with my friends." And it
Right.
was just like that, and we just kicked off. And I realized, oh, he's doing production at a worldwide scale. So I was like, that's the guy I want to learn from.
Yeah.
You know?
I think a lot of people don't have that confidence to walk in the room by themselves,
Yeah.
to talk to the person by
Yep.
themselves, to not sit in that little group in
Yeah.
the corner with the
Yep.
people that you know
Yep.
and like move in that pack with them.
Uh,
And I
it-
think you leave so much on the table
yes.
when you do that.
Yeah.
And I guess the notion I'm trying to pull out of you is, you lived the experience, but you weren't scared to have the conversations and you were always talking about your ideas.
Yeah.
And-
Sometimes you are scared. So even me, you know what I mean? Like when I was just at the Guam Chamber of Commerce, I feel like, oh, what table am I going to sit on? Am I going to get pigeonholed in this one corner with other people? But after a while, you learn you have nothing to lose. I do feel like getting rejected is something that people should practice. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like go get rejected 1,000 times. And that'll build your confidence so that you won't be timid to lose out on that opportunity in the future.
Yeah, I saw this guy on Instagram saying 2,000 calls to $1,000,000, and he's just like counting them off,
Yeah.
right? And I would
Yep.
think, yeah, that's we used to sponsor a junior achievement team and to
Okay.
teach the kids, like, man, if I told you guys weren't going to eat tonight,
Yeah.
and I gave you like a jar of lemonade, and I said go down the beach and sell lemonade, I guarantee you're going to sell some lemonade,
Yep.
right? And you're going to make some money. It's just
Yep.
like put yourself to the edge and just realize that you can do anything when your back's against the wall. It's just
Yeah.
you just have to believe in yourself.
Yep.
And the common thread that I see for you is like there are places where you maybe doubted yourself,
Yeah. Yep.
but it's I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
It's I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna see what happens. I'm gonna see.
Yep.
I'm just gonna see today. Right?
I feel like even sometimes when people trust me to do their weddings and everything like that, I still get a little nervous because I'm like, oh, they're trusting me with their special day. There's no remake, there's no redos.
Mhm.
You have one time to get it right, and it's almost like playing sports and everything, getting up to bat. You know what I mean? A lot of people on the sidelines will always have comments and tell you, but they're just sitting on the sidelines. You know what I mean? You have to be willing to get up to the plate and shoot your shot. And being a younger businessman and everything, sometimes nobody's going to tell you it's your time. You know what I mean? It's really up to you to grasp it and just stand on your own 2 feet.
Yeah, I agree. You have to believe in yourself to the point
Yeah.
where, but you also have to value the trust.
Yep.
And like your brand is the deliverable.
Yes.
So again, that attention to detail, that care,
Yep.
that's not pervasive.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who start and they don't have that. It's more about the fun. It's more about the other things. They're not at that place where they realize the enormity, and that's maturity as a business. That's
Yep.
maturity as a business owner, and that's valuing the trust that's being placed in your brand, and that's a
Yep.
journey.
Yep.
Wouldn't you say?
It's definitely a journey. I mean, a lot of it came, like I said, when I was back working at Wiseowl. It was a lot of times when we had like an emergency, it was late at night. It was just my dad and me and everything. And watching my dad save hundreds, if not thousands, of animals' lives, it really makes you think like one person can make a difference. You know what I mean? So when you're the business owner, it's up to you to make the difference for your entire team, to put yourself, be a true leader so that they can shine in their own aspects and everything. So
What's the juice for you? Is it like doing the hard thing? Is it the growth? Is it the journey?
um, for me, it's about being part of people's lives and moments that they'll remember forever. Because I do feel like at the end of our life, as we get older, all we have are experiences. We're gonna forget about all the um, bills and all the other stuff. We're just gonna be thinking about those moments that we shared with others, and that kind of is my passion, my drive.
Mhm.
And that's why every time somebody hires me for an event, I'm like super stoked. I'm excited about it. I want to be there, and I want to go extra. So like going back to what you said, the deliverables, always under promise and over deliver. And if you have that reputation of over delivering, people want to work with you.
Well, how is it getting signed up to do weddings when you look like you're 10 years old,
Yeah, yeah.
and then cultivating that trust and growing that, because when you're young and you're starting a business, people tend, like you say, like in chamber, maybe
Yeah.
they see you and would be dismissive of you,
Yep.
like as not like an owner, like a really like
Yeah.
thriving and significant business, versus like someone who knows or kind
Yeah.
of done a little bit of research. They treat you differently.
I think the value is the impact you can make on Guam. So not necessarily financially, but also just in our society. We're very family oriented and very respectful. So I definitely feel like, sorry, I was losing what the question was, but I definitely feel like um, being able to put myself out there is just slowly bringing me back to the point where I'm having more confidence in delivering anything that anybody wants. So now I'm willing to take on different projects that I wouldn't have taken on before. And yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah, I think I was just speaking to the growth arc,
Yeah.
right? And just creating that brand trust, but then also dealing with being dismissed because you're a
Yeah.
little bit
Yeah.
younger, and because because you're in an industry that's a lot of fly by nights
Yeah.
in a lot of ways, with not a lot of like organized structure. So
Yeah.
people are used to dealing with like people not showing up and flame outs, and so the standard is the expectation is low to a degree in terms of trust.
Yeah.
So there's a high degree of anxiety in dealing with you, and then I see you show up versus someone older who I know a little
Yeah.
bit, but then you're saying you have more equipment and you can execute.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a that's an obstacle, I would say.
Yeah. It's definitely an obstacle, but like you said, when you have that equipment where nobody else has or anything like that, or um, nobody else is available. That's how I actually win a lot of events, is because other people are already booked. So by default, you have to. There's only like 4 or 5 big production companies on Guam,
Right.
and a lot of people don't know them because they're not necessarily in your face on social media.
Mhm.
But they're super established because of their network,
Yeah.
and they've proven themselves time over time. So to me, I love it when I win a bid or anything by default, and then I have a chance to show them that the younger guy with the equipment and everything can do as much as the older people in the business, if not more.
And what I would say too is you're more likely to improve your product over time,
Yeah.
because you a lot of times the more established companies, they already have their business model,
Yes.
they have their set
Yep.
lines, right? They're maybe
Yep.
not looking to evolve like product
Yep.
lines. I got my set, you know, it's
Or
like
reinvest into new equipment.
when you're comfortable,
Yep.
you know, you miss stuff. And
Yeah.
that's where it makes room for someone like you to come in and just
Yep.
be disruptive, because like,
Yep.
oh, those guys are just all right. I'll just be over here. I'll just mind my business with these raffles and
Yeah.
giveaways. And while you're not looking, I'm building my stages. And now I'm at this small seminar, right? Oh,
Yep.
now I'm doing this. Oh, sorry, I got this big event, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm at
Yep.
Fibonacci, right? And then
Yep.
et
Now
cetera,
Fibonacci.
right?
Now, I mean, my team's actually, I just came from the Navy base. We're setting up for the July 4th
Right.
event there, you know. So just even the fact that bigger companies are starting to trust you. And then once they trust you, they start recommending you to the other corporate customers and everything. And then you just build that
But
brand.
my favorite part, Ben, is they never see you coming
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
ways, right?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden, like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
they're there.
And I love reinventing myself and everything. So after getting back to the growth of AltrXego, after after COVID and everything, I started to opening up like experiences on Guam. I opened up the AltrVerse and the Guam Selfie Museum,
Okay.
which I would love to reopen and everything. It was at the Tuman Sense Plaza. It was supposed to be a tourist attraction where it's kind of like a remake of Team Labs and everything.
Yeah.
And then the Guam Selfie Museum was based about mental health and having a safe space to be yourself, as well as raise money for nonprofits that deal with warm hotlines. So like Varo or Got Your Six for veterans. And there's a couple other one, Guam Behavioral Health. And that was great. I started building those, everything. And then the business model changed as well. Mawar hit. That was a huge disaster for me. A lot of my equipment got destroyed.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. So I was actually off island working in Bali for the same music festival that I bring everybody out to and everything. So I brought a group of girls out with me to represent Guam in Bali, and then that's when Mawar hit. So I didn't have time to come back and secure all my stuff. So my 40-foot container flipped, my fence flipped, all my stage pieces flew out and everything, and a lot of my canopy. Like we had like the pagoda, like circus style tents and everything. A lot of my equipment got completely destroyed.
That's horrible.
And everything. Yeah, it was very horrible and everything. And then that was another huge thing, because you're building all your assets, you know what I mean?
You think you're good.
And you think you're good, you know what I mean? You start getting comfortable, and then a typhoon comes and just completely sets you back 100%. You know, and I don't know if you know this, but they don't insure containers on
No,
Guam.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Right.
they don't insure containers on Guam. It has to be inside a concrete house or residence, everything. So I learned that the hard way.
It's a
Part
lesson.
of business,
Yeah,
right? You know what I
lesson.
mean? You always learn
The lessons,
big lessons.
the lessons that you learn the best are the ones
Yep.
you pay for.
Yeah. And then I'm actually I'm at Jonestown, so we get like crazy winds and everything. And even Sinlaku flipped my container again,
Wow.
and it's still flipped right now.
That's scary, man.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to rent a crane, and I'm just putting that off.
Well, we know some guys. So
Yeah, exactly.
Show Jeff.
That's network. You see, that's the
Yeah,
network
there you
coming
go.
in. You know what I mean? And literally, my container right now is still flipped as part of my business model. I'm just like, you know, got to pick the triage, what we're gonna treat first. You know what I mean?
APFM has a crane and a big Christmas party.
You know, actually, I love doing deals with businesses on Guam.
Right.
A lot of people, they're not into the trade of services or anything
Because
like
they don't
that.
value your service.
Oh, well,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah,
generally,
no, I mean,
right.
yeah. But I feel like chinchuli is like a staple on Guam. It's like in our culture almost. You know what I mean? They help you, I help. You know, we help each other, and all the customers that I end up trading with, everything, I'm like their go-to person for any of their events or concepts, or even branding concepts. They hit me up for new creative ideas, which I feel is like an honor to even like for them to even trust me with a branding.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that collaborative
Yes.
deal is really good, and you
Yep.
you have the opportunity to do that. And
Yes.
that's nice that you have your own business, because you
Yep.
can pick and choose who you
Yep.
can work with, who you can partner
Exactly.
with. So like Mad Collab was really cool, because they did
Yep.
all the collaborations with the
Yes.
businesses. So when you're a business, you've been in 9 years.
Yep. 9 years now.
How do you get there? Like, and who do you talk to, and like how do you get like? I just feel there's not enough support here for businesses like that.
I feel like I didn't understand the value of the Guam Chamber of Commerce. I didn't understand the value of the Guam Visitors Bureau. I didn't understand the value of Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association and everything just until like the last 2 years, to be honest. And then I started joining all these organizations. And then I kind of like went to a meeting and I was like, oh, here's everybody. This is where everybody's been. You know what I mean? And to think I would let like a simple registration fee or whatever prevent
That's what it
me.
is. It's what it is. It's the registration fee,
Yeah, and
right?
you think, oh, I'm not a big enough business to afford this. You know what I mean? Which I tell myself all the time, I'm not. But that's just what you're feeding yourself. That's a lie.
No,
You know what I mean? Because that room is where all your growth is going to happen.
you know, and I'll say this, right? I was a real estate agent, self-employed, right? In my first year, I made like what $35,000 in gross commission, right? Like I have to pay taxes and all
Yeah.
that junk.
Yeah.
You know, paying $75 a month for like it's like a lot, right? And it's just like
You
and
think it is.
no, and then
It
when
is,
you get
but
in the room,
right.
right? You're not there with like industry. You're not there as Docomo. You're there as like Ben Schiff and
Yeah.
Ryan Mummert, you know,
Yeah.
like 25 years old and like, who
Yeah.
is this guy? And that is and so I think chamber should cultivate some of these membership for
Yep.
these, you know, like
Yep.
sponsor, you know,
Yep.
a few small businesses, at least for a few meetings, and
Yep.
make sure they engage with the membership.
Yep.
Because if that doesn't happen, if you go to a meeting, you sit in the corner and then you leave,
Yep.
that's nothing.
And that's kind of what I did for my first meeting. I
Right.
said, oh my God, I don't know, who's going to be here. I don't know, all I saw was the business's name on each table. You know what I mean? That's all I knew, you know what I mean? 'Cause I didn't know who was who in the room yet.
No, and then you're a small fish to, I mean,
Yeah,
just
of course.
respectively in
Yeah,
the
no, of
chamber,
course.
right?
Yeah.
But Guam Contractors Association has this
Another
great
great one.
thing, right? Where they
Yep.
come around, it's like, hey, meet the members. So
Yep.
I forget his name, but he's with East Island. I think it's named Joe, right? Or Josh. He goes around and meet the member. Hey, what do you do? Right? And just
See?
hands it over. It's like,
Brilliant.
I'm into guns. And
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's a good GCA, right? But it's great. And I think that's something that needs to happen. I think more small businesses need to be invited,
Yeah.
asked to attend and introduced. And there, you
Yeah.
know, like there's mixers and all this, but sometimes you got to pull teeth. You
Yeah.
got to draw people
Yeah.
out, right? Because that's just what's needed.
I like
guess.
the idea of having bigger businesses sponsor a smaller business and bring them into the chamber. I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah, we do
You
it
know
all
what
the
I
time.
mean?
You know, you want to
Yeah.
come to Rotary? I'll sponsor you, sir.
I love that. Yeah. Which
okay.
Rotary are you part of?
I'm Rotary Club at Tumon Bay.
Okay.
And so
Perfect.
I found chamber like harder to operate just
Okay.
because again but joining through Rotary,
Yeah.
you deal with all the same guys that are in the chamber infrastructure or connected to that structure. And it's about service and
Yes,
it's still about
exactly. Yep.
networking, but you get to do cool things. And
Yep.
it's a good way in a smaller group to get networked and kind of
Yep.
transition up.
Yep.
And you can still do the other thing, but at least in the room, you'll have like more familiar faces.
Yes.
'Cause I swear
Yep.
to God, like 10 members of my club are just like, you know,
There.
interspersed throughout the, you know, it's just like,
Yep.
it's a small industry and it's a small island.
It is a small island.
And we all need to come together because like what happens is,
100%.
you know, they're like Kmart as an example.
Yeah.
During COVID, they stopped paying all the vendors, right? That's what I heard. And so with that, they don't sponsor us. I don't think they ever
Yeah.
will. So we're okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But it was like, but then all the other businesses can come together and have a voice because that's what the value of an association is for.
Yes.
When the big guys kind of like the small guys can aggregate, right? And
Yeah.
then the big guys can help like bring stuff forward through leadership that helps.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that you're in the room. and
Yeah,
having
no,
that
I definitely like the service aspect and everything. Going to JFK, you basically learn, what can you do for your island, not what your island can do for you. So, and I do try to I try to bring value to the island. When I first started off AltrXego, I don't think I was bringing much value except to individual people and everything. I don't think I was solving any big problems
enough.
like I try to solve now.
Right.
But yeah, that's all part of the growth.
It is, right?
Yeah.
It's like because the person you are now, you don't realize you can be that person,
Yeah.
but then progressively you start doing the things like, oh.
I mean, being a business owner is basically just you got to learn how to work yourself. You know what I mean? Be honest with yourself, have those hard conversations in the mirror, and adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Okay, so big question, right?
Yeah.
DFS is empty,
Yeah.
retail, 2 months Sands Plaza.
Yeah.
You're in the entertainment space.
Yes.
Personally, I think events.
Yes.
I think, like if you want to maintain relevance,
Yep.
let's do a event center, right? Because
Yes,
they're doing that night
please.
market, right? Get
Yes.
people in
Yep.
there. And the way to maintain brand relevance is get people who are
Yep.
influencers, like
Yep.
entertainers, right?
Yep.
Come here, have a great experience with the Guam crowd. But
Yep.
then, like you say, and I didn't think about it, export the local
Export
talent.
our local talent.
That is
It
amazing.
might be a bigger return in investment. You know what I mean? And talking about all this stuff, I think it's a funding issue. You know what I mean? I personally, I'm probably going to get canceled if I say all this, everything, but I personally think if the military is investing 430 or 500 million dollars into Guam and everything, we need to be investing something similar for our tourism and everything. I think GBB only gets like 30 million, 35 million a year or something like that. So I think it's way underfunded if we're going to solve the problem. So in my business, a lot of times money can solve issues.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If I have a production problem and I could just run to Home Depot or run to Kmart or something and then buy the thing to fix it, sure, I lose profit and everything, but the problem's solved and everything. But with bigger problems like, an event center and everything, I think the return of investment is there. It will come, but we need to invest a pretty penny to build it right or to market it right. And I feel like um, the tourism, I personally feel like we're not giving them enough.
Well, part of the deal with the brand identity
Yeah.
is cultural
Yes.
awareness and
For
then
Guam.
developing like local assets. And from what I understand, a lot of the local dance groups were actually that's kind of like they're economically developed. Their funding source comes from economic development
Right.
to a degree, and the reason why is because proliferation of culture, almost like the Thai restaurants across the world, right? Is
Yep.
the proliferation of like Guam culture and brand
Right.
identity. So I agree. Like if Will Castro was on here and he's talking about
Yeah.
having a class at his school where you learn how to navigate by the
Ye-
stars, and
yes.
you teach local
Yep.
blacksmithing and those kinds of cultural arts.
Mm.
Those are events. Those are experiential things that people can participate in if it's staged right. Mark Baldiga has made a business out of this with the beach and the
Yep.
sandcastle, right?
Yep.
So how would you do it? What's your vision? Like, okay,
My
they
vision.
Ben,
Yeah.
you're the you're head of GVB now.
Oh, wow.
Here
I
you
could
go,
never
bro.
do what they do.
I know you.
You know what I mean?
Maybe you can.
Because,
Maybe I'm not. Look,
well,
they're a marketing agency, but
right.
your job is to put butts in seats, right?
Correct.
And you be this
Yeah.
building, monetize it, and make Guam look good. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
I think I would build all the shows would be based around culture, like you
Okay.
said, because we don't need to rebrand our culture. We just need to showcase it. So some concepts that I've been looking at, the only thing stopping me is funding, is you get these water pumps in Tumon, and it pumps the water up to make a mist.
Okay.
And then we just shoot a projector on it. So then now every single hotel in that Tumon Bay can watch a projection water show on the water.
Okay.
To me, that's not undoable. It's very low cost, high reward. You know what I mean? Or with DFS and everything, we turn it all into a cultural, immersive, like team labs, but with culture being the focus of the experience. I feel like people come to Guam, and they experience the Hafaday spirit. They fall in love with Guam. Everybody I've ever met off island and brought to Guam, they always want to come back. You know what I mean? It finds a special place in your heart once you're out here because the respect, the culture, and it's truly like no other place in the world. So
Can you get to a baseline of sustainability with that?
yeah,
So let's say you do this immersive team
yeah,
labs in
yeah,
DFS. Can you get to, and then we never get to 1.9 million visitors. We never get back to that volume again,
yeah,
right? And probably get through there, someone has to pay like $120,
yes,
right?
yep.
Do you think we can get to the place where that would be valuable and sustainable in
Yes,
operation?
I do think it could be sustainable as long as, to me, the silent killer is always rent. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because just like the Oka Park and
It's not
Play,
power,
sometimes it's power. You know
right?
what I mean? But with technology, there are ways to lower your power bill
Well, you got
and
to cool
everything.
it though.
a lot of the projectors and everything,
No, the building.
the building.
You gotta
Yeah, I
AC the
mean,
building, right?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
your, you know, I know that DFS building costs a lot to cool.
I'm sure it does,
Yeah.
but I do think it is possible. I think Team Labs was the most visited museum in the world
Mhm.
a year or two ago.
In
You
the
know what I mean?
world.
Yeah, in the world.
Yeah, mic
You know what
drop
I
there, right?
mean? Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I've been to Team Labs in Singapore, Korea, Japan. I try to go to any immersive. Meow Wolf in
Oh, Meow Wolf
Colorado.
is great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Meow Wolf,
yeah.
everything.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I love going to different places in the world and just see what they're doing and
Yeah.
like how do I bring it to Guam?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And when we did it, the AltrVerse at Two Sands Plaza, I think the best day we had like 350 people show up.
I
You know
get
what I
it.
mean?
So this is your concept, like at
Yeah.
scale.
Yeah,
I
it's
get
just we already did it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I was operating off of sponsor cash
Mhm.
income. You know what I mean? Just like I said, every event I was doing is like a small startup. We get injections from who's willing to sponsor, what corporate branding aligns with it, and everything. And to scale it, I think if the value is there, people aren't stingy with paying money. It's just when they don't get the value for what they're paying for is where you start getting friction.
Well, I think part of the problem too is you're selling something, but nobody knows how to buy what you're selling on the government side, right? You want to do events, but the
Yeah.
ideal way to do events is put on RFP, say these are my
Yep.
deliverables. But who designs the deliverables, right? What does that look like? And then a lot of times the vendor is feeding back what the deliverables look like, and
Yep.
it's not an honest conversation. So I think that what needs to happen, well, what should be the deliverables? Like it's if you were the government advisor and you're saying, yeah, I'm setting the stage for you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you were the government advisor and you said, hey, you should do this, you should put out GVB, put out an RFP, get the vendors for these buildings to agree to like a base rent.
Yep.
We're gonna do this for 3 years.
Yep.
We're gonna fund it. You tell me what events you're going to do. You tell me the progression. You tell me the marketing plan. You tell me the scale. What do the deliverables look like? What should they ask for from the vendor to show that they know what they're doing? And what capacity, like, should they believe in a local guy? Should they look at scale?
I definitely think you should believe in the local guys. I think we have a lot of local talent, but a lot of the local talent doesn't have that platform. You know what I mean? So
But we don't believe in local talent, Ben, do we?
I think we do, but it's not supported, even though we do believe in them. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, so if I have production company
Right.
A local, but then you
Yep.
have this production company B who's in like LA
Yeah.
and they work with Netflix,
Right.
who are you gonna pick?
You know, you would assume you're gonna pick the one from Netflix and everything, but you know, for them to move any of their equipment out here on Guam, the shipping and everything like that, it's not gonna really make sense. You kind of have to make things work on Guam. You kind of have to work with what works already. So I feel like sometimes Saipan they try to bring in stuff too big. You know what I mean? Like the casino, everything is not fully built and everything like that. They scaled too big, too quick. And I feel like Guam, you start with the small guy and then you get it operational and then you grow the small guy would make a lot more sense than trying to bring in a giant whale and get him used to our waters.
That's exactly right. And that's kind of like, that's the insight I was
Yeah.
looking for, because you do need those local networks.
Yes.
You do need, it's not
Yep.
so easy to
It's
show up
not.
here.
Yes.
And even you got millions of dollars, like flex your muscles and say, I'm going to get this done. People will laugh you out of the room.
100%.
Who do you think you are, sir?
Yeah, exactly.
There
You
are
know,
carpetbaggers here left and right. It doesn't work like that.
I feel like Guam market is very, very unique,
Mhm.
and I love it because how unique it is. I look at it as opportunities.
I also hate it too, because it's, to a degree, sometimes it protects people who aren't
Yeah.
doing the best job.
It's true, but I always like going back to the manifesting thing. I always tell myself, if you believe it's bad here or if you believe it's good here, you're both right. It's whatever you feed yourself. That's the reality you're gonna live in.
And I hate that, dude.
Yeah.
When people say like, it's Guam, it's Guam, it's Guam, that's you
Yeah.
accepting that, right? That's your problem.
That's the lie you're feeding yourself. Like we
Your
said
problem.
that
Because
you know
it's,
what I mean.
it's California. It's Atlanta. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like
Yeah.
the same problems are the same all over. It's just here you hear about a lot of this stuff because it's smaller and you're closer to
Yeah.
it. But it's like everybody else's problems expounded down
Yeah.
to the smaller level. But
I mean, to me, you'd be surprised how much I spend on marketing. It's almost nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all word of mouth. It's all my work speaking for itself, or somebody taking picture or referring or something like that. So I feel like in the States, you would not be able to do no marketing. You would have to spend like 10 to 20% of your business
No, but
just to
here,
get out there.
here, Ben, more so, and I agree with you. And this is one of the reasons I've stayed here,
Yeah.
is because if you do the fundamentals,
Yep.
if you do and you treat people right,
Yep.
you're going to succeed, right? The market will take care of you if you
Yes.
take care of the market, right? And it's not so hard to, 80% of the job is showing up in a lot of ways. I mean,
That's very true.
there's a lot of truth to that,
Yep.
right? Showing up in a certain way, and
Show
that
up with a smile,
yeah,
willing to work.
and consistency.
Yeah.
Consistency
Yep.
is the challenge. The duplication of effort, the
Yep.
repetition of success.
Yeah. I mean, we did this wedding just last weekend, and it was raining all the way until 4 p.m. right before the wedding start. And, everybody was starting to get, their motivation was going down and everything is gloomy, it's humid, everything like that. But my team showed up right at 4 when we were supposed to with big smiles and everything. And we literally got every vendor on that same energy wave, and we got everything set up by 6 p.m. and everybody had a great time and didn't rain throughout the entire wedding and everything. And I literally was like, you see what happens when you guys show up with a good attitude? Even the weather will go away.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But that's professionalism too.
Yes, it
Ben.
is.
That's knowing that things are temporary.
Yes.
And knowing that it's
You're not in control over everything. We're not in control of the weather, so you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna come here with a smile and execute.
Just in your process,
Yeah.
not outcome, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do all the things that we know are gonna be successful. At the end of the day, everything else is out of my control.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I wanted to talk to you too is because the way I look behind the curtain at one of your places. I
Right.
was there for DJ Academy, and that's a really good business model. Like,
It is.
and I understand you were able to do that through grant funding.
Yep.
And your business growth has been through finding sustainable sources to cover the loss leader,
Correct.
and that's a barrier to entry.
Yep.
So can you tell us about how you use the grant funds to overcome that barrier and start a new sector?
Yeah, AltrXego's always pivoting. Like I said, we did Mawar, we did COVID, everything, and then now we launched the Guam DJ Academy.
Okay.
And the Guam DJ Academy was huge growth and everything. I finally learned how to tap into grants. I found out about the grant through other businesses that got it the year previous from me. And at first, I thought, I thought grants were out of reach for AltrXego because, like I said previously, during COVID, we're told we're not essential or anything like that. So I didn't realize we could qualify for mini grants. And the grant that my friends' businesses got the year previously changed its requirements for the year that I applied, which was to become a licensed daycare. You know what I mean? Registered facility. So we sat down and we thought, we're only working with, X amount of talent on Guam. There's only X amount of DJs, there's only X amount of bands and everything. And we're kind of just repeating the same talent pool, which is amazing because the talent gets a lot of practice and gets well known, to go off to tours off island and everything. We actually took a couple bands like KPV and everything to Saipan, doing events there and everything. So it's really cool to bring people off island for the first time. So we thought, how do we do this for the younger crowd, which would be to become a licensed daycare facility? So me and shout out to DJ Lizea and Jose, the backbone of AltrXego, I like to say, we went and got pediatric CPR certified. You know what I mean? Got all of our ducks in a row, basically. And we decided to launch a program for kids to learn how to DJ, which is kind of a trend going around worldwide, as well as because we already know the old DJs that's been around. So now it's about the younger generation. So luckily,
Workforce development.
Yeah. And then now we have new DJs in the market and everything. So I was able to work very closely with Gita, and they helped me dramatically go through the process of figuring out the grant. And all of the previous events that I did when I was losing money made me really aware of how to use the funding that was finally coming in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, we're not making that mistake again. We're not making that mistake again.
Right.
I probably could say that like 25 times,
Right.
like, if not more, how many mistakes, we're not going to do that again. So it was great to be able to have that experience of losing profits before. So then when you get the grant, you can actually take care of it properly so that the business will be sustainable for years to
Mm.
come. You know what I mean?
Did you write the grant yourself?
No, I did not.
Who helped you?
Yeah, the grant was already out.
Oh,
It was, they were, Gita was
no, but
promoting it on
no,
their
you
website.
applied though, right? Like, so
Yeah,
did
we
you write
applied.
the proposal yourself or?
Yeah, there was, you know, the grant process. They make you go through everything, your budget. You have
Mhm.
to submit your budget, what you're going to spend every last penny on, the course schedule, the curriculum, and everything like that. And I didn't do the DJ curriculum. DJ Lizea did that, so shout out to her once again. And it's crazy because we've done 4 semesters already, and then we actually pivoted into doing adults as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're getting more DJs out into the Guam scene. And back to the funding, you know, Gita was a huge help. And just having a mentor and the people on island that have done it previously, like the other businesses that got it the year before me, I kind of talked to them and figured out how to create a sustainable program for kids.
Right. And I think that's key for growing your business. You have
Yes.
to create a pathway to workforce,
Yep.
and you have to
Yes.
develop the capacity
Yep.
because the only way you can scale is with talent
Yes.
and people.
Exactly.
The machines aren't going to do this because it's a
Yep.
people business, and you need ideas, and you need people to run the cable.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No wrong. Yeah.
But
Exactly.
they also need to see the vision and the scale
Yep.
because your business is not a business that lives and dies on Guam. It's a worldwide business that travels, and
Yep.
the skills you learn here in the weeds translate to anywhere that you go. And you've proven that because
Yeah.
you went out there, brought it back, and are now going back out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep on going back out, and we were even able to bring a child DJ 9 years old to Malaysia to
Nice.
represent Guam.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so and then now it's even crazier. The other kid DJs are slowly getting booked, and we're gonna launch a new semester. So you know, follow the Guam DJ Academy is gonna. I truly believe the next Guam superstar is gonna be born through the academy.
I think all the next business superstars is going to be
Yeah.
born through a collaboration like
Yep.
this. I appreciate the way you work. I appreciate your ideas, and I appreciate you being out there trying to do good things for Guam. So it's
Yeah.
good meeting you, Ben, and
Yes.
talking to you. And
Thanks for having me.
yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you in the chamber.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
hopefully out in the other community organizations.
Yeah.
Right,
Thanks for
man.
having me, man.
Right. You know, I had an idea about maybe some of the journey, but I had no idea about the connectivity and all of it. And it was really interesting to hear Ben's side of how things came around and his growth arc and where he sees things going for Guam. Honestly, I thought this was going to be 45 minutes. It ended up being super long. So I don't know how much of it, we have to save some bonus content on the side there, but it was a really great conversation and a lot happened off camera too, because Ben's a really smart guy and he has a lot of passion for Guam and what he's doing. And I think you should be interested in that too. I hope you're interested in Ben and all our other guests. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook too, if you're still on there. We hope you join us on all our platforms and ask questions and are curious like we are on Data Points.